Have a great day, everyone. Welcome to the Instructor's Compass. Our topic for this day is mental self. So the question is, what is the mental self? Well, mental self is one of the four basic selves of the collective individual. These four basic selves are mental, physical, spiritual, and social selves. Now, focusing on the mental self, there are two divisions that are present. Number one, the cognitive mental self, and number two is the competitive mental self. The cognitive mental self is the mental self that caters to learning and absorption of knowledge. This is usually a generalized learning mechanism of humans. The competitive mental self is the self that utilizes the mentally absorbed knowledge to defend one's point or to argue a principle. Thus, these two divisions have their own differences and they function in each of their designated ways in fulfilling the mental duties of an individual. The mental self is more of the measurement of the intellect of the person involved. The way he gets this knowledge, understand this knowledge, and convert this knowledge into a personal principle or statute that will benefit and protect himself or herself. The absence or weakened appearance of the mental self will cause the person to be always placed in a situation that will result to deficiency of decision making and intellectually augmented rationalization. Oftentimes, it is always the mental self that deals with the decisions and choices of an individual. That is why, when this part of the human self will be compromised, the person is right away considered incapable of making legal decisions and choices in life. Now, why? Because the mental self determines the kind of ability or understandability that the person possesses with regards to all the informational inputs that traverse through his mind. Another important factor that affects the mental self is the kind of education that we get from the earliest schooling to the academic graduation. Oftentimes, the way we are educated, the content of our academic endeavors will always determine what kind of future we will have and what kind of professions we can land on and what kind of respect will other people necessarily give us. So upon explaining to you that the mental self of a person is very important, then it is not to be neglected or treated as inferior to the other selves in the holistic appearance of a complete individual. Another aspect of the mental self-development is the fact that not all individuals follow a perfect pattern. Some mental capabilities are done by some very early in life, and some do it later than others, but it does not mean that the one who did it early is already mentally gifted. It is just that sometimes there are early birds and sometimes there are late bloomers. Thus, Before I end, let us always remember there is no such thing as knowing everything. Until our last breath, we can always learn that we need to choose to learn always. And we will always learn that learning is not just for a period of lifetime, but for the whole lifetime that we have. Learning starts from birth and ends with death. I hope you have seen the salience of studying the mental self, for in so doing, we can always have a clearer mind that can understand others and can be understood by others. I hope, dear learners, you will appreciate what God has created, and one of those creation is the creation of the mental self. Truly, the aim of the mental self is always to imitate our great God. As one text in the Bible said, "Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus." God bless, and I hope you will not put to waste the mental self that was given by God for you to utilize, to communicate, to argue, to reason, and to speak to people so that there will be happiness and there will be a God-fearing community that will be ready for the soon return of God. God bless everyone and have a sound mental self.